Hi guys, today my coolest eBay lot yet turned up, a whole bunch of Khorne Daemons.
Scruffy Crow.
I was quite lucky with the price I got these guys for. It was a pretty low auction compared to how much the bite nows for these things go separately. We've got another Angron that you may have seen in my last video. A Bloodthirster, who is missing part of his weapon, or most of his weapon. 5 Bloodletters, and 5 Flesh Hounds, which are the things I really wanted. Angron, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with, because I've just finished painting my other one. The Bloodletters are pretty cool. They've got cheeky little faces, and they're quite big. So here are the 15mm Blade Demons that I got, and here is the Games Workshop Bloodletter. And as you can see, it's got more detail than the Magister Militum one, and he is quite big and quite easily cover a 20mm base by himself, I think. But I think sort of filling them alongside each other is probably going to work quite nicely, as long as I make my opponent aware they're all Bloodletters. 1 to a base for the bigger ones, and 2 to a base for the smaller ones. I think they've got a similar enough style that they could work quite well, especially when I've got them all painted up the same colour. The Bloodthirster, here's how he matches up to my other Bloodthirster, so quite a bit smaller. And my Balrog, so even smaller than him. So I don't know if I'm going to use him as a Bloodthirster. He might make quite a cool Demon Prince for this Bloodthirster, but we'll see. Who says Bloodthirsters will have to be the same height? First things first, I'm going to get these guys all stuck down to some 20mm bases. I've already started cleaning some of these guys up because they have some glue and stuff on the bottom from where they've been stuck to something before. They smell like they've been cleaned with a bit of Dettol, if I'm honest, but they still have the original vents there. I'm pretty sure they've been painted before. There's still some chips of paint here and there, just in the nooks and crannies. But it won't take me long at all to get the mould rounds removed and any vents and the glue and connection points off the bottom, and I'll get them stuck down to these. Okay, so that's the lesser demons all ranked up. Now let's look at this guy. I've got no problem with the base he's on. I've already gone around and cleaned up some mould lines that he had. So the last thing to do is to have a look at this weapon. Like a lot of you, I recently received this dwarf sprue, and I think this is probably what we're going to use. So I've got a few options here. I've got this axe. For something a bit like that, which I think is kind of cool. Still not sure about it, but I think I'm leaning towards a sword, possibly that one. I'm going to take my knife and just remove that as close to the hand as possible. And this was kind of twisted when I received it, kind of like bent off, like it had just been snapped away. So I've already spent some time filing this down, try and get it sort of angle and flatness that I kind of want. I'm just going to file down at the connection point here. As you can see, I've almost got too much. The only thing I think I could do to make this even better would be to try and change the angle of his wrist, so it's just a little bit more tilted across. I think that would give the model a bit more style. To achieve that, I've got some pliers, actually a multi-tool, but it's what I have to hand, and some masking tape. This is not something I'd normally try with the vintage model as old as this. Since he's already broken, I've not got a lot to lose. So I'm just going to wrap both sides in my masking tape, and hopefully that'll stop me from doing any damage to the model when we do this. I'm literally just going to grip it on both sides. I'm just going to try and bend the whole thing where we want it. And there we go, that's what we needed. Now unfortunately I have done a bit of damage down his knuckles here. That was kind of to be expected. But first I'll use a file. So first I'm going to use the corner of this file to put these fingers back in. And already that's improved quite a bit of the damage. And I might even just put a little line of green stuff on there to pull the... I might even put a little line of green stuff on there and sort of bump them back out a bit. But that's quite a subtle change, but I think it's been worthwhile. Next step is going to be to drill a 1mm hole using my handy drill down the centre of his weapon haft. I dab a glue on some 1mm florist's wire. I'm going to go into the hand first and take off the excess with these old clippers. We don't need a very much of a pin sticking out because I'm limited to how far into the plastic I can go. Let's dry fit that, see what we've ended up with. That lines up fairly well. I should stick in a little mil or so off there. Because I don't want to go any deeper into the plastic, because you can see it's already sort of expanding it, and I don't want to go any further than the hilt. So I've got a dab of glue on the sword hilt, and on it goes. Okay, so another 5 of these guys has just arrived. I ordered these before the previous set, but they've only just turned up. I think they got sort of a bit held up in the post. These came from an eBay seller based in Italy, who also threw in this Asta Wargames little magazine, which I can't read. So they seem to sell all sorts of Wargames items. Now, I'll give them a fair shake, but I suspect that these are recasts because there's not many of these models kicking around anymore. They have quite a few on sale on their website, and these appear to be brand new. That being said, the mould lines, like the one on top of his leg there, are in identical places, and the detail is bang on. So they might not necessarily be recasts, they might just be completely pristine models that have just never been seen before. Either way, I'm not overly worried about people recasting 20-year-old GW miniatures. I don't think that's going to really do much harm to the industry as a whole, apart from maybe collectors. Either way, another 5 of these guys is going to get based up onto the bases to go with the other ones. Actually, I'm basing these guys up, and this guy's got some quite bad flash. And I'm comparing him, because obviously I've cleaned this guy up. This is one of the original ones. I'm cleaning this guy up, and I'm seeing that where this flash is, so on the back of his leg here, the front of his foot here, and on his chest, is exactly where I can see where I've ground away the worst mould lines on this guy. So I'm now leaning. But look at the state of his sword. Look at the state of all of their swords. They don't appear to have been cast right to the end. So nope, still don't know. Alright, my next stage is to go through and cover the gaps between the bases and the little integral bases with a little bit of filler. Okay, that's all the filler on. To get a nice smooth coat, I watered it down a little bit so it's kind of goopy. Leave that to dry overnight and get the sand on. And here they are in the sand. I'll leave them in there for a few minutes while the sand soaks into the PVA. Okay, so I've undercoated all their skin in the Khorne red, and now I'm just giving them a dry brush in this Citadel red to bring out all the details. The Hounds, on the other hand, I've done slightly differently. I've given them a black wash first, but then I'm going to put some red on their sort of little ruffs. This is a bit of an experiment here. I might do the bits in between. Actually, I might do these very red on the spikes and the spikes down their back, and then do the bits black. Still experiment. I want them to stand out a little bit. Okay, I've moved along with the dogs quite a bit. So yeah, I've sort of given those spikes on the back a little bit of a highlight, and then I've gone with red and black on the front. I've given them a little brush of their teeth with some bone colour, and then washed that and the gold I've put on their collars with a bit of brown wash, and to make those sort of detail up a little bit. And I think I'm probably going to leave the dogs like that, because I think that gives a nice contrast between them and the other demons. So the only thing left to do on them is going to be the bases. So the big guy, I've tried to go with a bit of a black wash in his wings to darken them down, so there's a bit of difference between them and the skin when I do it. And I've started just detailing around the outsides of his arm with this gold. I think I'm going to go gold and black on his armour. And then the regular demons, seeing how it looked, but I've got the horns in black, sword in black and gold, and then just a tiny little tickle of bone around their mouths, a hint of teeth in there, and then that's probably going to be them. So this is the only one I've done so far, so I've got another 9 of these to get to this stage. So all I'm doing with these swords is I'm just giving them a stroke up the front to sort of suggest an edge there, and then I'm going to give them this edge on the corner here up to a point, and the same on the back. And make sure we've got a nice sort of pointy bit there. I'm also just giving them a little touch of something on the back of their horns here, just to suggest that they're a bit pointy as well. Now these guys have got sort of little, maybe 0.5 millimetre little balls where their eyes are. So what I've got here is a bit of yellow base paint. I'm using the base paint because it gets more coverage, it makes it a bit easier. And I'm just going to try and spot in their eyes. Just so it's not completely blank. I think this is sufficient to give them some nice little beady eyes without it being too difficult. Okay, so there was one more stage I did that I'd kind of forgotten about. I've gone in with the null again, and I'm just getting these hilts and the gold bits of the swords, giving them a little bit around their grin to put some contrast in the teeth that I tried to do. And then I'm going to just do some in the eye sockets as well, which should help lift out the yellow when it's dry, and also give a bit of shadow in their face and a bit more sinister. But that really is the end this time. And here they are all finished up, and alongside the demons I already had. And I think all in all that makes a pretty cool combined force. Why are these ones going the wrong way? And this is how this guy sort of scales against Angron, and then my Magister Militum demon. So yeah, I'm really happy that they came out, and I think that is all the demons this army will be getting. And that's all for this video. Please let me know what you thought down in the comments, maybe subscribe for more, and as ever, thanks for watching, bye!